I always like to talk about the real estate stats and keep you guys updated on what's going on in the market with prices, with home sales, and with the data, so you guys can know what's happening. And there's a stat that I kept expecting to happen a little earlier in the year that's starting to show now. But for the first time in years, we have our first year-over-year drop in the number of monthly home sales in our market. Whenever we see the prices fluctuate, people could always say that it's seasonal and different things, but I think we can all contest, and we've said this before, that December is generally a pretty solid real estate month for our market. And so if you see a trend, December's a really clear month to be able to know if there's a trend of the market starting to stabilize or shift a little bit. So in December of 2018, we had 2,579 sales. That compares to 2,950 last year, 2,879 the year before that, and 2,616 the year before that. So basically, the worst December in terms of number of sales that we've seen in many, many years. We also generally see an increase in the number of sales from November to December. So you have people that are wanting to close by the end of the year, you know, and people in town, and you kind of have a surge of sales in December for tax reasons. However, again, not the trend of this year. In November, we had 3,085, and again in December, we had 2,579. December this year was the third worst real estate month of the year, according to the stats. And so a lot of people were really waiting to see what happened in December, if some of the pent-up demand, if sales that didn't get closed in the summer got pushed into the, got pushed and able to close in December, but a pretty low sales figure, I think, comparably for what people expected to see in December. So I think, about a 15% drop from December of last year to December of this year in terms of the number of home sales.
And I think we, felt some of it from rate increases.
Sure.
So it kind of scared people out of the market. And, there was a lot of media buzz, too, about the real estate market starting to slow down and prices drop. So I think it was just kind of a perfect storm of all of it hitting at once.
In addition to that, our average sale price in Tampa was $270,525. Now, we haven't yet had a year-over-year drop in the average sale price. We were really close in December. Last December, it was $269,963 average sale price. This December, $270,525. What's that tell us? We're starting to see that amount of appreciation we were seeing before stabilize and slow down. Another thing that we see, 3.5 months of inventory. That's the highest amount of inventory that we've had in our market since February of 18.
I was going to say probably all year.
So, however, let's put things into perspective here a little bit, okay? It doesn't mean the market's crashing. It doesn't mean we're having major problems. It means we're stabilizing and maybe returning to more of a balanced market. 3.5 months of inventory is still really low inventory.
Isn't 6 months kind of considered a strong, stable market?
Correct. 6 months is a normal kind of market. Below that is sellers. Above that is buyers. So 3.5 months of inventory is still, a very, healthy real estate market. But again, a very low number of home sales for December compared to trends that we've seen in the past for really strong Decembers. And then, of course, that slowdown in the price increase and increase in inventory. It all points to a lot of things that we've talked about before. Look, the drastic increase in the number of sales and the average sale prices is not sustainable in our market. We knew that there was going to start to be a trend in the other direction. Now, what's that mean for buyers and sellers? If you're looking to buy or sell, it really doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It's not like we're seeing huge price drops or drastic changes. It just means you have to change your strategy a little bit. And so we're going to talk a little bit about this after the break and kind of give you some tips about what this data means to you. But one other thing to to pay attention to, the government shutdown. Obviously, the looming government shutdown and all the chaos about that obviously had an impact. And the interest rates had an impact. There were a lot of reasons, but nonetheless, all of those reasons aren't just short term. There's definitely some long term reasoning for why our market is going to start to stabilize a little bit and be more balanced. But you heard it here first. First time we've seen a year-over-year decrease in the number of sales month over month, month to month in many years. So if you're wanting to know what this means to you, stay tuned after the break. We're going to give you some tips. If you're a buyer, if you're a seller, no matter what you are, if you're paying attention to real estate, we're going to talk about the data and the stats and what it means to you after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show.